Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to do something a little different. I did something similar back in November when I looked at a YouTube channel. Actually, no, sorry, not November. We're talking January here, where I looked at a YouTube channel on historical food. So in this video, I'm going to take you through just kind of looking at another YouTuber who does videos on historical stuff. In this case, I'm focusing on his playlist for Asian history because we're kind of doing Asian and African American History Month. So I'm going to take you through, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but you'll see it when I go through the his YouTube channel, Erasmus. I'm mispronouncing it, I guarantee you, but you will be able to see it. So I'm just going to kind of take you through what his site looks like and show you the playlist that I kind of skimmed through and talk a little bit about what I learned by watching some of his videos. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to show you my computer screen. See you in a bit. Okay, so here is the site of, again, I'm going to butcher this person's name or his YouTube handle here, Epimetheus. So he does short history stuff. So this is what his kind of channel looks like. I'll link it in the description. He has quite a few videos here. I'll jump to his about page so you can kind of see who he is. So this is him. He covers histories of nations and empires and people from all over the world, especially focusing on areas that are covered less in mainstream or examining familiar topics in different perspectives. So he does some great animation stuff, which is, I've watched a couple of his videos. My main focus here is his playlist here. So what I actually looked at, because it's Asian, is his East Asian history playlist. So he has a bunch of other playlists. You can see you have the East Asian, which is what I'm going to be focusing on here. You have nomads, ancient Roman classical world, weapons and empires and tactics. From what I can tell from just watching his Asian stuff, it's really, really interesting. He does this stuff really well. So this is what, I'm not going to play one of his videos because I'm not going to steal his stuff, because this is, you work really, really hard and his animations are really good. So these are the ones you can see, the ones that I kind of covered. They're not long videos. They're really Cliff Notes versions, and that's what he's designed them for. So you have the history of the Philippines explained in 8 minutes. How did the Chinese civilization begin? So covers a few of the history explained there. The rise and fall of China's Han dynasty and its rise and fall again. So that's only about 12 minutes. And then you have all China's dynasties explained in 7 minutes. So this is a really brief overview of 5,000 years of Chinese history. Then you have the Three Kingdoms period explained in 4 minutes. And then the Tang Sisters Rebellion of ancient Vietnam, which I think I watched a little bit of today. The Korean Three Kingdoms explained, history of Korea. All Korean kingdoms explained in less than 5 minutes. So these are really, and then yeah, the longest videos you're really seeing is about 12 minutes in this. And then you have the history of the Singapore, history of Japan explained in 8 minutes, all periods of Japan history in a history documentary. So, and then he does, why didn't the Japanese use shields? So this is really interesting. Again, they're very short, very Cliff Notes, which isn't a bad thing. If you're trying to do something introductory and just kind of get started, it's a good way to start kind of an overview and cover some basic topics, or to help your kids get interested in it. His animations and his maps are really cool. He does a really amazing job. I like the sound of his voice, which is always important. It's engaging. He definitely knows what he's doing, and he does go over these bits of history. And again, this is not in-depth stuff, but it gets you started. It's definitely a way to introduce a different topic. And he does cover topics that you don't really see all that often. Particularly in, say, the US, we're not really covering the history of Vietnam or Indonesia, Malaysian history, various different Korean histories, all of which are really important. Particularly as homeschoolers, we have the opportunity to go into this stuff even in depth when schools just don't. I mean, I never heard about any of this. We barely covered the Korean War when I was in high school, let alone younger ages. So it's really amazing. And I'm going to take this chance to actually look kind of at the rest of his channel and see what he has besides, of course, the Asian history, which is really, really cool and really well done. So he has some areas of Iberia. So he has an entire playlist. So let's have a quick look at that. So he has literally Catalonia, history and independence from Spain explained in 3 minutes. Catalonia, independence from Spain explained in 4 minutes. And the animated history of Spain, which is 3 minutes. So these are really, really short. And then the animated Kurdish independence referendum, vote explained in 3 minutes. So this, to me, this is really interesting. It gives close, easy stuff. Here, handedly. So this is a big thing. This looks like where he does a lot of focus. So he has 27 videos literally on Mesopotamia and the Bronze Age. So this is the Philistines, particularly focused if you're, basically this is a non-religious channel, you're getting to look at the Philistines and the various people who were around the Jews, essentially, in Israel at that time. So you get to find more of the history of the people around them and the Bronze Age. And let's see, what was the first professional army in history? So it's interesting. I've never heard of some of these people. You have Babylon. And again, these are relatively short overviews, and they're engaging and entertaining, and they're a good introduction into these different topics. The history of Islamic Iran explained in 10 minutes. Not a clue. I would find this interesting. So some of these places I've never heard of, which is really good. How accounts of the Trojan War movies and TV shows, Helen of Troy, Troll of Troy, and more. Basically, how accurate are they? That's always fun. I always like those comparisons. History of ancient Israel and Judea explained in 5 minutes. So this is really interesting stuff. It's quick. It's easy. It's very, very well done. You have the visuals of the mass, and you can see kind of what's going on. So this is why I really enjoy and I would highly recommend this channel. I'm going to go back to his home video here. So his voice is engaging, his animation is amazing, and his videos, from what I can tell from just watching a couple of his Asian playlists, are really, really well done, and they're very educational. So I would highly recommend this channel. So this is what I'm going to show you on my computer screen. I will be back to you in person in just a moment. Thank you. Okay, so that's it for this video. It's kind of short, done in 3 parts. Highly recommend this guy. You're looking for something short, something easy, something very much of an introductory to these topics before you go into more in-depth stuff. It's a great way to start. It's engaging. The animation's done well. His voice is engaging, which is always important. You don't want somebody who sounds like a block of wood. Trust me, I had a professor for geologic disasters who sounded like a block of wood. That was also her last name. She was very intelligent, but yeah, very, very boring. So, and I'm sure a lot of adults have had professors like that. So it's very important. So he does a lot of really good work. It's very obvious that he puts a lot of heart and thought and a lot of work to do these animations and these maps into this. So I would highly recommend him as an educational YouTube source, particularly if you're starting out and looking at different historical aspects. His Asian videos are amazing. In one of them, he does recommend a couple of others. Only one I've actually watched, and we're not covering those points of history quite yet. But I will definitely go through a couple of those myself and see if I can recommend them and work them into my channel at some point. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, check out the rest of my stuff. Mostly I do book reviews and family film reviews. I do a sprinkling of travel, kids travel stuff, and various other homeschooling educational reviews looking at different topics and things. This month specifically, I'm focusing on both African American history and Asian American history because it's February, both the Lunar New Year and African American History Month. So that is it. Thank you.